great question has come in. How do I project my voice without shouting when a microphone is not available? Right, a couple of things from the get-go. Number one, check about the microphone. If you are a professional speaker, somewhere in your contract or in your letter of agreement, you should have the sentence, the client agrees to provide lighting, staging and sound appropriate to the venue. That covers everything, because if you can't be heard, the client has wasted their money. So let's get that in the first instance. If there should be a microphone in that room, it's down to your client to install it. And if you are running your own event, it's also down to you to install it yourself. That brings us on to the next bit, which is that you can look around a room and say, this is a tricky room. What can I do right now to fix it? So does that mean moving the chairs around? Does that mean moving the staging around? Does that mean that you walk closer to the audience? Does that mean you stand in the middle of the audience and sort of talk that way? Okay, so first of all, make sure that the setup is as you would want it. Number two, if there's something that you can change, do change it. You're the speaker, you're in charge. Lastly, this is all about technique, this idea of projecting your voice to the back row, okay? Breathe, big lungfuls of air, take deep, deep breaths, because, you don't want to be like Brian Blessed and shout to the front, to the back row, but you do want to have as much volume as you can that's still at a speaking pitch. Last thing here, actually two last things. Number one is always look at the audience, because the audience will give you feedback. And if they can't hear you, you can go over things again. And the last point I want to make is that when you're speaking, very often people don't hear every single word that you say. And brains are very good at spotting patterns and filling in the gaps. So what you need to do is make sure that when people come into a speech which they can't quite hear every word, or they're not sure about and they're listening for a little bit, make sure you speak really slowly and really clearly, taking those big breaths, because what will happen is that they will be able to hear you speaking, or they will understand what you are saying much more clearly at a lower volume than they would if you were shouting really quickly and they can't really make out what you're saying. So there you go. Remember, it all comes down to breathing in the end. This is a really good question, because it combines all kinds of things from the practical side of getting the contract right up to how do you get it right on the day. More questions? Always happy to answer them. Put them in the messages below. Link up with me on LinkedIn. And I'll answer it, if I possibly can, have time for it, before the 2nd of December. There'll be one of these every day until then. Thanks very much. I'm Ian Hawkins. Have a great day.